In the late 17th century, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb marched into the Deccan with an apocalyptic force of over 500,000 soldiers. The emperor's objective was total: to erase the Maratha Swarajya from the map. Its legendary founder, Shivaji Maharaj, had recently passed away, leaving the kingdom's survival in the hands of his young heir. Geographically, the Maratha kingdom was a death trap. It was entirely surrounded by hostile forces: the Mughals to the north, the Adil Shahi and Qutub Shahi to the south, the cities of Janjira on the coast, and the Portuguese in Goa. Standing at the center of this tightening noose was a single defender, 23-year-old Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj. Over the next 9 years, this king would fight exactly 120 battles against these combined empires. He would not lose a single one. Raised under the strict discipline of his grandmother, Jijabai, Sambhaji grew up isolated within the formidable stone walls of the Maratha hill forts. While he was trained for the battlefield, his greatest advantage was his intellect. By early adulthood, Sambhaji had achieved total fluency in 14 different languages. At just 14 years old, he authored the Budh Bhushan, a highly complex political and philosophical text written entirely in Sanskrit. His linguistic mastery allowed him to personally intercept and translate enemy communications, conduct intricate diplomacy without middlemen, and consistently outthink older, more experienced rival commanders. This scholarly intellect was the engine of his military record. He demonstrated that total tactical awareness is often more effective than raw troop numbers. He managed the defense of his kingdom through staggering operational complexity, launching aggressive campaigns on land and sea simultaneously. On the western coast, he faced a persistent naval threat from the cities of Janjira, who controlled the vital sea lanes. Their base was nearly impossible to breach, a massive sea fort rising directly out of the ocean, designed to withstand any naval bombardment. While containing the coast, Sambhaji slipped past the Mughal siege lines to sack Burhanpur, the financial capital of the Mughal Empire. He then rapidly pivoted his forces south, neutralizing the Portuguese threat within their own territory in Goa before the Mughals could coordinate a response. These constant, undefeated maneuvers so frustrated Aurangzeb that he abandoned his throne in Delhi and moved his entire court to the Deccan to personally lead the war. By transitioning from a stationary defense to a series of proactive strikes, Sambhaji forced the Mughal administration into a costly, reactive posture that drained their central treasury. In early 1689, his undefeated streak on the battlefield was ended by internal treason. Sambhaji was ambushed and captured by Mughal forces at Sangeshwar. Aurangzeb offered a primal ultimatum: the king's life would be spared if he converted his religion and surrendered the locations and defenses of every Maratha fort. Sambhaji refused to yield either his faith or his sovereign land. Over several weeks, the emperor ordered a series of horrific tortures, including the removal of Sambhaji's eyes and tongue, in a failed attempt to break his spirit. On March 11, 1689, at Tulapur, the king was finally executed, having never surrendered a single secret. Aurangzeb believed this execution would end the war, assuming the Maratha cause would die with its leader. Instead, the public execution radicalized the Maratha populace. Fear was replaced by a collective determination to avenge their king. Every farmer, villager, and commoner became part of a decentralized insurgent army, making the rebellion impossible to target or extinguish. Aurangzeb spent the next 27 years fighting this faceless insurgency, never seeing his capital in Delhi again. The emperor died in the south, exhausted and defeated, and was buried in the very soil he had sought to conquer. Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj is remembered today as the Dharmaveer. By choosing to die with unyielding dignity, he ensured the survival of his kingdom's independence long after his own execution.